All right, so fluency is actually on two slides today, and the only reason it is because the picture that we need to use for the information for this question needed to be seen, and I didn't want it to be too cramped on the slide. So, that being said, let's begin. So it says if you bought 9 cans of soup, 3 loaves of bread, and then you gave the cashier $70, how much change would you receive? So you're buying 9 cans of soup. Well, soup, according to our picture, costs us $2.29. So if we're going to be buying 9 cans of that soup, we would be spending $2.29, $2.29, $2.29, $2.29, $2.29. Keep going until we got 9 cans. So we would technically be adding $2.29 up 9 times. But we learned previously in the weeks that repeated addition is the same thing as multiplication. So if we're going to do repeated addition, we're going to do multiplication to make it easier so we're not writing as many numbers out. So you're going to do 229 times the 9 cans we're getting. Okay, so that being said, now we have simply a simple multiplication problem here. If we have a multiplication problem here, we are simply going to start off by rewriting our problem without the decimal points. So we have 2, 2, 9, and then we have a 9 underneath it. So we have 9 times 9, 81. 9 times 2 is 18. 18 plus 8 is 26. And then we have 9 times 2, which is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. Now, looking at our original problem that we did that's up here, we have to count the numbers behind the decimal. There's no decimal points behind 9, so let's go behind the $2.29. I have a 9 and a 2. So there's 2 numbers right there. So that means there are 2 numbers that I'm swooping for. So I start with my decimal point after my number I just got for my product, because we were multiplying. And I swoop twice. 1 swoop, 2 swoop. So I get $20.61 that I spent on soup. Then I bought 3 loaves of bread. Well, loaves of bread cost $1.59. So if I'm doing $1.59 for 1 loaf, and then another loaf is $1.59, and then another loaf is $1.59, that's repeated addition again. So I'm going to multiply again. $1.59 times 3. So first step, rewrite the problem out without decimals. So I have a 1, I have a 5, I have a 9, I have a 3, and then I draw my line and I begin to multiply. 3 times 9, 27. 3 times 5, 15, plus 2, 16, 17. Bring up the 1. 3 times 1, 3, plus 1, 4. So now I go back to the problem, since I'm dealing with decimals. Count the numbers behind the decimal point. There's none behind the 3, but there's a 9 and a 5. Since there's a 9 and a 5, I have to move my decimal point that many times, which right now is currently behind the 7. A 5 and a 9 is 2. So that means I swoop 2 times. Swoop 1, swoop 2. So I got 4.77. Or in this case, I spent $4.77 on the bread. So now here's the thing. I have figured out how much I spent on the soup, how much I spent on the bread, but I gave the clerk $70. I want to know how much this clerk is going to be giving me back. So I have to sit here and think to myself, well, how much did I spend in all at this store? If I bought cans of soup for $20.61 and I bought bread for $4.77, if I have to figure out how much I spent in all, I have to add those two up. So I'm going to add first to figure out how much I spent before I can figure out how much change I'm going to get. So I have $20.61 plus the $4.77. And then I'm going to need more lines. So when I'm adding decimals, the first thing I need to remember to do, I drop it down, drop it down, drop it down. So I'm dropping it down. So 1 plus 7, 8. 6 plus 7, 13. 1 plus 0 plus 4, 5. And then the 2. So I spent a total of $25.38 at this store. Okay? And I gave the cashier $70. I gave him more money than I needed to, but I gave him $70, okay? So since I gave him $70, I'm getting money back clearly, and I want to make sure I get the right amount back. So anytime you go to a store and you pay with more money than you spend, what you have to do is you have to subtract the amount you paid and the amount that you gave the clerk. So in this case, and you're going to have to go off to the side. I'm going to move this over so I can see. Okay, it's good. So you gave the clerk $70. We know it's a whole number, so we know that the decimal point goes after the 0. And I always like to put 2 placeholders behind the decimal point when I add one. And then you subtract, meaning that you take away how much you spent there, because you had $70 and you spent it. So if you spend it, you no longer have it. So you had spent $25.38. So we had a decimal point. We had a 5 in the ones place. We had a 2 in the tens place. We had a 3 in the tenths place. We had an 8 in the hundredths place. Okay. So now we put our line down. Now we begin to subtract. Drop our decimal point straight on down. 0 minus 8, I can't do. I can't take from this 0. I can't take from this 0. So I have to take from 7 because 7 is the only thing that has value here. So the 7 becomes a 6. And all my zeros become tens. But in order for us to make that last 0 a 10, the 10 that's in my tenths place and the 10 that's in my ones place both have to become 9s. So now we can subtract 10 minus 8, 2. 9 minus 3, 6. 9 minus 5, 4. 6 minus 2 is 4. So, when all said and done, after buying this bread and this loaf of bread and this soup, you will get, and you pay with $70, you will get the change back of $44.62. Okay, so that's how you do fluency for today.